What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, flu test, or maybe a test for some other virus, I hope you have tested negative. If you did test positive for any of the viruses, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long-term issues. It is time now for the Thursday edition of the Virus Update for Thursday, February 27th, 2025. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily virus update on all those viruses that can make us sick. There's a lot of them out there, and they've been infecting quite a few people this winter. Want to stay informed with what's going on? Just subscribe down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Share this video with anyone you know. And of course, leave your comments down below. I always love reading your comments. Alrighty, we do have several news stories today. And we do have some weekly data, including stuff from Ohio, the UK, and Washington State. So let's get right into it, shall we? Starting off on the bird flu front, which has been a big problem lately. There's a lot of things that have been problems lately, but bird flu continues to spread. And 20 geese have been found dead on Ogunquit Beach. This is in Maine. This is just south of the Portland area. And town officials sent a public health notification Wednesday to let residents know avian flu was detected. And it does sound like there is going to be a meeting in the town there to figure out just what is going on. All right, moving on now to this. Hundreds of sandhill cranes die in southern Indiana. Yes, you guessed it. This is from bird flu as well. Bird flu is really a big problem at this time. This is in Jackson County, Indiana. Now moving over to Wisconsin, where crews removed 90 dead birds from Little Chute Pond. I hope I said that correctly. Little Chute Pond. Possible death being caused by bird flu. Yeah, what more can I say? It's popping up in several different locations. Those are the three news spots today where dead birds have been found. New Jersey, just across the Delaware River from me. I live in Pennsylvania. Up in Allentown, New Jersey, they found a bunch of dead geese lately, and that park, from my understanding, is still closed up in that area. On the measles news story, this has been gaining a lot of attention lately. We can now add another state that is dealing with measles this year. A measles case has been confirmed in Kentucky. Yes, Kentucky now reports a case of measles, and a Kentucky adult. Yes, a little bit different than Texas. Remember Texas? We're talking about younger children. And this time, it is an adult, a Kentucky adult who recently traveled internationally to an area with high transmission of the measles, has a confirmed case of it, according to officials with the Kentucky Department of Public Health and the Franklin County Health Department. And as we know, measles is one of the most contagious viruses. Just yesterday, we saw in Texas that a child has now died of measles, which, in my opinion, with a child now dying of measles in Texas, that's telling me that this outbreak is really spreading, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get another update on Texas cases tomorrow or maybe over the weekend or sometime soon, because this is really starting to take off, and I do think we will see measles cases pop up in even more states. Do I think it's going to be all 50 states this year? I can't answer that question, but I do think we're going to see it pop up in several more states, because there's not really much being done to stop the spread of this right now. And I hate to even go this route. We have someone new who's in office right now. He's not really, how can I put this? He's not really interested in stopping this, or at least from what I can see. Yeah, he's talking about it, but I don't think what he's doing right now is going to stop it very much. Yes, I'm referring to Robert Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr. All right, moving on from that before we get too political. Dennis, the COVID info guy, always provides us updates from some other countries. And here's an update on New South Wales. This is in Australia. And this is for COVID. This is the respiratory surveillance report. But we start off with COVID. The positivity rate is 6.5%. That's up by 0.6%. COVID, it's starting to rise there. It's up by 14.3%. Influenza is up by 4.4%. RSV is now at 972 cases reported. That's up by 35%. And they did add 1,591 COVID cases and 1,342 influenza cases. And a part of me is starting to think on the global scale. Now, I don't have a chart to show this. I'm pretty sure there may be one out there somewhere. But I'm starting to think on a global scale. We may be starting to enter another wave. You have to remember here, while we're about to enter spring here in the United States, places like Australia is going to be entering fall pretty soon, and then comes winter. And with LP.8.1 variants starting to increase, and the number of celebrities testing positive, or famous people, I should say, testing positive, increasing, that's always the first indicator. When you see more celebrity positives or famous people positives, that's always the first indicator that, maybe something is starting to happen again with COVID. I hope I'm wrong, but it could, even if the United States is not, rising, which we're not at the moment, globally, on the worldwide spectrum, something different could be happening. You'll see the UK in a minute. They're not necessarily dropping in the UK. Queensland, another portion of Australia, COVID cases, they're up by 8.1% to 939. Influenza's up by 14.2%, or 890. RSV is up by 632, or is 632 new cases. That's up by 8.2%. And hospitalizations for COVID are now up by 5.4% there. Influenza is actually down. RSV, those hospitalizations went up by 18.5%. You got 32 in the hospital for that, 42 for influenza, 156 for COVID at this time. Taking a look at this from CIDRAP, just going to read a headline here. Imaging shows significant lung injury in kids with long COVID. That's right. I hate to reference this guy again. A certain someone who just became our health secretary in the United States said kids can't get COVID, man. He said that a few times. I think he has said that. Guess what? Kids can get COVID, man. Kids can go on to get long COVID. And here's proof that it can impact their lungs and actually damage their lungs. Oh, what a unusual time that we are in right now. All right, take a look at this. Another case of COVID from Saturday Night Live. Chloe Fineman will likely miss first post SNL 50 episode with COVID-19. This now makes at least 3 cases from the SNL 50, and there may be more, and maybe some celebrities who attended just aren't announcing their case. It is possible. I will make sure this gets into the archive eventually, but mind you, I got quite a few names that I still need to, eventually I will get to that. Taking a look at this, FDA cancels meeting to select flu strains for next season's shots, and that's not a good thing, because that could actually delay the flu vaccine for next season. And you're probably thinking, well, wait a second, we're still in winter respiratory season of 2024-2025. We're still in winter time. We got all spring and summer. That we do, but any delays now, any delaying of a meeting now or cancel of a meeting now, that can delay things down the line. Because remember, they have to get that ready. It needs to be ready by summertime. Because I remember long ago when I worked in a drugstore, Rite Aid, by August, a certain point in August, they were already telling us time to start pushing out flu shots. It's time to start reminding people, hey, we got flu shots available. You can go get vaccinated for the flu. So, yeah, they need to get this ready, and by delaying this, well, they're not going to be able to, because they need to know which strain to target on next year. So, not a good thing. Alrighty, let's end the news segment on some good news. New data. Early fears that COVID raises risk of sudden cardiac events in athletes unfounded. I know I myself have wondered when I see these cardiac arrest reports saying, oh, did that person have COVID? Could that be what it is? Well, as of right now, this is coming from CIDRAP News, and it looks like the research was published in JAMA Network Open, finds no evidence that they are increasing at this point. That is some good news. Of course, we'll continue to follow it, because who knows, maybe other studies will come out that may say otherwise. We see that happen from time to time. All right, that's where we end with the news portion. However, I do want to give a quick personal update. Remember I said the other day I'm going to be having a telemed appointment yesterday? Had a telemed doctor's appointment yesterday. And I thought I would share with you the latest of what's going on with my post-COVID issues real quickly. And I did a quick thread yesterday. We'll just read tidbits of it and I'll explain. Update on my post-COVID issues from my case back during the holidays. Remember I had a suspected case in 2020, And then I had a confirmed case back during the holidays. Matter of fact, I still got a little Ziploc bag here, documented of my case, of all my positives. Anywho, I talked to my doctor yesterday in a telemed appointment. It was the wellness check he wanted me to do after my previous appointment, which was only just a week ago. And the reason why I went through with that was because my headaches are continuing and my fatigue issue got a little bit worse over this past week. So I said, you know what? Let's get back in contact with him like he wants me to do. And let's also tell him I'm going to go through with the MRI, which I am. MRI is going to be next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Got to be there earlier to be prepared. And basically, I told him that my headaches are still existing. And with that, he gave me a new prescription, which I'm going to be on for the foreseeable future. I'm going to be on it for the next... we don't know how long I'm going to be on it, but it's something I'm going to take twice a day, and it should knock the headaches out. I'm on it right now, and I'll tell you what, my head's a little bit better today. So we'll see what happens, and as a result of that, and as a result of the fatigue issues, he wants me to do a sleep test, and that sleep test is going to be coming in the mail. So I'm going to do this at-home sleep study test. We'll see if there's any sleep apnea or anything like that. I'm assuming that's what that would find, because he asked, has anyone ever told me that I snore or whatnot? So we're going to look into that, and of course probably go over the MRI results in the near future, because he wants to see me again in 10 to 14 days. Also, this is really interesting, something that did not happen after my 2020 case. This is really important, because after that I was with a different doctor, and at that point the PA who I was seeing dismissed anything from COVID. My doctor is saying everything's because of COVID, and I said, yeah, so many people go on to have long COVID and post-COVID issues, and he said, yeah, you have long COVID, meaning me. I have long COVID, so you could basically say I am officially diagnosed now with long COVID after all this time, and more so because of my most recent infection, which is causing these two major issues. So MRI next week. It'll be on next Tuesday. I don't know what we're going to be doing about an update that day. I'm sure I'll have something. Alrighty, moving on. Taking a look at the viral activity levels in Canada, and you will see here that in Canada, COVID-19 is moderate, flu A is moderate, flu B is moderate, and RSV is high. Now to some brand new data that just came in today from the UK. Starting off with influenza. And we see influenza in the UK. It's dropping. Very good. 9.9% positivity rate. That's still high, but overall, it is dropping. RSV at this time. Overall, you can see here, it's still dropping. It's slowed down a little bit, and it's actually still higher than where it was when it first started rising. So it needs to drop some more. But again, not a terrible concern at this point. Not a big concern here for COVID, but also not encouraging either. COVID, while it didn't rise big, 870 cases were reported this week. And with that, the cases are up by 37. So could it be maybe they're about ready to have a little bit of a spring wave or something? We've seen it happen before. I think they've had spring waves in the past. I honestly don't remember. Yeah, take a look here. They did back last year. In April, they went up a little bit leading into May. Then they dropped. Then they had another wave summertime. So we'll have to see what happens there. And to be honest with you, because of these things right here, these at-home tests, it's possible if they were to have another wave, it would largely be muted because of the fact of so many people just not getting tested. I mean, let's face it, the number of cases that the UK as a whole country reports in a week is much less than the majority of what a lot of states report here in the United States. I can think of many states. New York, probably Pennsylvania, probably Florida, maybe California. On and on I could go. There's many states in the United States that report more cases than the United Kingdom does as a whole entire country. Alrighty, moving on. Taking a look at what's going on with air qualities in the United States, if this loads. The point being is there are still a few areas that are dealing with problems from air quality. The East, we're seeing some problems today. Definitely, there it goes. Right along that I-95 corridor. All the way down into Florida, western Pennsylvania, and parts of the Great Lakes as well. And on the West Coast, still some problems in California being seen with air qualities today. All right, taking a look at what's going on in Pinellas County, Florida, and we do see here, we do have a few sick person calls and strokes going on as well. That's not a good thing Philadelphia yesterday reported 791 EMS calls. Still no update out of Philadelphia on the latest flu numbers. I was hoping we would have that today, but it's just not there. Take a look at this. Montgomery County, Pennsylvania is currently seeing some stroke calls. What we are not seeing a lot of is respiratory emergencies. And that's good. There were a ton of them earlier, and really just only one stroke call right now. Taking a look at this, this was just a little earlier today, Chester County, Pennsylvania. I noted, I think it was around 12:30, maybe it was 1 o'clock, I don't remember. Take a look here at all the sick person calls. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 of them at a time. That's not a good thing. Let's hope it's better right now. Refreshing this for live looking. And while that's better, there's still one. I'm also seeing here, stroke yet again. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stroke calls today. We also just noted that down there in Pinellas County, Florida, there was a stroke call at the moment. Never good to see a large number of stroke calls in one day. That's a bad sign. And also a bad sign is take a look at the Lehigh Valley. All except just a couple hospitals are in the yellow, meaning diverts. Not a good thing. Southeast Pennsylvania, not as bad as it has been. Still a couple hospitals diverting. York, looks like there's a hospital there that is diverting at this time. WellSpan York. Of course, as you know, in York, not that hospital, but the UPMC. If you've been following the news, there was something that happened there the other day. So, good to see that hospital is currently in the green. Taking a look at New Jersey. Wow, take a look at this. Quite a few, quite a few hospitals dealing with problems here. And yet again, look which one makes the list. Princeton Medical Center. Penn Medicine, Princeton Medical Center. On a full and total divert. How many days in a row has this even been now? I think it's been every one of the weekdays this week, hasn't it? Yeah, that's not a good thing. Taking a look at what's going on in New Jersey, and I do need to refresh this. I want to see if this actually updated. I wasn't going to show this, but I figured, you know what, let's go to the respiratory trends. And yes, it did update, and the overall respiratory trends in New Jersey is now dropping. The percentage of emergency department visits for influenza is dropping. COVID is dropping. And I do believe that one line is RSV as well. Yes, that is dropping. Good trends now in New Jersey. Let's see if New York State update. I've been waiting for this all that. No, still no update out of New York State. Maybe CJS when he comes in with his next report. I don't know when that's going to be. But maybe he will tell us what's going on in New York State. Because on the dashboard I use, which is, you know, the New York State public dashboard, nothing. Sometimes we don't get it on Thursday and then it comes up on Friday. Sometimes we get it on Thursday and it doesn't come in on Friday. I don't know. But in lieu of that, let's take a look at New York City and see what's going on there, because that did update. Total cases, daily average over the last 7 days, 398 cases. Total case rate per 100,000 people is at 33.4%. And remember, a lot of cases do not make the cut because of these at-home tests. It's a theme going on all around the world. Hospitalizations, daily average 27. Total deaths is 1. And we can actually go back to this New York State dashboard. Now, mind you, this is going to be yesterday's number. But we can actually see what the total hospitalization number is in New York City. And that was 318 on the last update. Taking a look at Walgreens. And at Walgreens, we see the COVID positivity rate is at 12%. Taking a look now at what's going on with wastewater. And where do we want to go? We're just going to do, I think, just one wastewater site today. Yeah, why not? We don't talk much about Kansas. So let's see Lawrence, Kansas. Let's see what's going on there. We need to include Kansas more often. There's a lot of states we need to include more often than. A big reason why we don't is because there are so many states that just don't have any data, or maybe I haven't had enough time to look, but even when I do news searches, I'm not finding much about many different states, which is really a sad thing. We need to know what's going on with the viruses in these states. Lawrence, Kansas. The COVID level's coming up high. It has dropped a little bit. RSV still high. Dropped. That drop's not very fast, though. And influenza A. Maybe that's trying to go back up a little bit again. I hope not. Either way, it is not dropping at this time. I mean, it dropped a little bit, and then it stopped dropping a bit. Hopefully the next update it goes back to dropping again. Influenza B is rising slightly. HMPV is starting to drop. Norovirus is still high, but it is starting to drop at this time. Hepatitis A, one detection back on December 20. When is that? December 27th. And Mpox, no detections of that at this time. All right, in Washington today, there is some new data, and it looks like the COVID hospitalization trend is starting to rise a little bit at this time. Total percent of COVID-19 hospitalizations for statewide, and that has gone up just ever so slightly at this time, but really it's not that big of an issue just yet. And when we take a look at some of the other data here, hospital use for COVID, yeah, that's gone up ever so slightly at this time, but again, I'm not terribly concerned just yet. When we take a look at wastewater, there are a few areas that are high, but the vast majority of these wastewater sites, like around Seattle, you can see here, low wastewater values at this time for COVID. So that is a good thing to report. Let's take a look at what's going on now in Colorado, because there's a little bit of an interesting thing going on here, something that goes against the national trend. First off, COVID-19 hospital count 53, influenza 328, RSV 209. That's all down. Influenza dropped significantly there. But when we take a look at emergency department visits, down for COVID, it's 0.5%, 3.12% for influenza, up ever so slightly for RSV. But that's where things get even more interesting. RSV positivity rate is 12.23%. That's up by 1.99%. It's almost up 2%. Yeah, what's going on there? I mean, nationally, that's not happening. Positivity rate for flu is 17.83%. COVID-19 is almost 3%. Both of those dropped at this time. Alrighty, ending today with Ohio, where Ohio's cases, 4,141. That is down from 4,616 reported last week. Hospitalizations, 165. That's down by 174. And remember, that is total number of new hospitalizations added to their grand total of 158,289. In the ICU, 8. That did go up slightly. And the number of people who have died of COVID in Ohio is at 43, and the total number is 44,854, with that increase being by 43. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Thursday edition of the Virus Update. We'll have another update again tomorrow. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, now's your time to subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell and share this video with anyone you know. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone. Have a fantastic Thursday evening, and thanks for watching.